Why did the medieval chicken cross the road? Were medieval ducks daffy? Was turkey the fowl of choice for medieval Christmas? These and other questions will be answered right after this. I am Professor Jerome Markenberg, and I've been teaching a wide variety of history courses at colleges across this country for the past 30 years. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the kinds of fowl available in medieval Europe, how fowl was classified according to humoral theory, according to medieval physicians, the medicinal benefits and dangers of eating fowl, and, according to medieval nutritionists, how and when fowl should be eaten and why. But first, make sure to click like, share, and especially subscribe, and that little bell thingy, so I can continue to bring you more great videos just like this one. Capon. Capon, a castrated rooster, anyone know that? Was a luxury reserved for the nobility and upper classes in the Middle Ages. Physicians classified capon as cooler than chicken, easily digestible and nourishing, and ideal for the dainty stomachs of both the idle and the ill, essentially the upper classes, which would produce both a healthy complexion and blood that was neither too thick nor too thin. Chicken. Doesn't that look good? Chickens, as suppliers of eggs and of meat that was regarded by medieval physicians as especially healthy and nutritious, and classified as moderately warm, were ubiquitous in the kitchens of the nobility and upper classes. They were also sometimes available for holiday dinners for the peasantry and lower classes. Chicken's white meat was ideal for white dishes, of which more later. Its meat was also frequently shredded or pounded into a paste and used in pie fillings, or as a topping on flat dough preparations. Chicken soup was also prescribed even then for the sick. Duck. In medieval Europe, while duck was eaten, it played but a minor culinary role for both the nobility and the upper classes and the peasantry and lower classes. Lucky ducky. Medieval physicians said eating duck was not healthy because they generated bad humors. If you're going to be an animal in the Middle Ages, be a duck. Goose. Goose was, in medieval England, the traditional meal for Pentecost, Michaelmas, which is September 29th, and Christmas, and in Germany for Martinmas, which always occurs on November 11th. Goose was usually boiled or roasted and served with a sauce or condiment, or its meat minced and put in pies. Medieval physicians warned its meat was difficult to digest, but goose fat that was dripped into the ears was a popular remedy for earache. Yes, medieval physicians had some interesting remedies. Crane. The crane, a long-legged migratory bird, was eaten in medieval Europe. usually roasted and served at banquets with sauce camelane, of which more later. Classified by medieval physicians as warm and dry, cranes were supposed to be hung by the neck and weighted down to make the dry meat more tender, and when prepared with aromatic substances and thoroughly cooked, were thought to be easier to digest than peacocks. Heron. The heron figures prominently in late medieval recipes, appearing on dining tables of the nobility and upper classes as heron puree, heron roast, in a spicy broth, roasted and larded, or stuffed and mounted on a platter to be served with great fanfare at luxurious banquets. It was classified by medieval physicians as warm and moist. And a partridge in a pear tree. The partridge is native to Europe, and in the Middle Ages was regarded as the healthiest of all the game birds, and was cooked by being roasted or encased in dough and baked. Medieval physicians classified it as moderately warm and moist, easy to digest, generating good blood, especially when cooked not fresh, but not several days later either. So, not fresh, not 4 days old, but somewhere in the pot, 2 or 3 days old. The pheasantry, remember these are pheasants, not peasants. Anyway, pheasants were introduced to Europe by the time of the early Middle Ages, and with its colorful plumage, redressed pheasants were a popular subtlety or surprise dish at banquets for the nobility and upper classes, rich people. And when not served on a platter in lifelike poses, they were sometimes boiled or wrapped in dough, then pressed in a mold and baked. Medieval physicians said they were an ideal food for the dainty stomachs of the nobility and upper classes, the sick, the young, and the old as well. However, those physicians claimed that the pheasant was harmful to the peasants and the lower classes, who clearly needed coarser foods. Pigeon, duck, and turtledove. In the Middle Ages, pigeons, turtledoves, and doves were fare for the nobility and the upper classes, often served roasted or in pies. Classified by medieval physicians as warm and moist, all of these young birds were thought to heat the body, while old male birds were beneficial for nervous disorders. Plus, according to the medieval physicians, the meat of the turtledove was said to sharpen the mind and improve the memory. Quail. The quail, smaller than the partridge, was common in medieval Europe, but was considered less wholesome as it fed on poisonous plants like hellebore, and thus was hardly mentioned in medieval cookbooks. Medieval physicians classified quail as warm and moist and were said to generate good blood and nutrition, especially for skinny people. Swan. The swan was, especially in medieval England and France, thought to be a delicacy, and so it normally fetched the highest price in any marketplace. With the skin and head carefully removed, swan was roasted, then carefully stuffed back into its skin and plumage, with parts gilded with gold foil, or its head made to breathe fire. Poor rich people, they expect these kinds of things. Like most other fowl, physicians classified swan as warm and moist. So, let me know what you liked about this video and what other historical topics you'd like to see in future videos in the comment section below. Be sure to click like, share, and especially subscribe, as it will help me bring you more great videos. And make sure to click on that little bell thingy so you'll know when the next History Waits for No One video is posted. If you want to know more, there are recommended studies on this topic in the description below, along with other ways to connect with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the past.